Welcome to BuySmack podcast, launched by Low Strategic Advisors and Business Strategy e-magazine. Myself, Dr. Vanita Agarwal, CEO and founder of these two companies. Today, our topic is how to get funding for small businesses, and our guest is Mr. Raj Tulshan from United States. Before we start this talk, I will humbly request my audience to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Low Strategy. The link is given below this video. So we start with our guest. Welcome, Raj, to our show. We are pleased to have you here, and this is going to be really knowledgeable resource for my audience who form, Vonib entrepreneurs, small business owners, startup owners, business school students, or some senior executives who want to start their businesses but are somewhere in hiccups how to do and how to go ahead.
Vanita, thank you for having me. I am absolutely feel privileged to be with you. I know you're in Gurgaon. I'm personally from Calcutta, India, so I love to be on this. Thank you again for having me.
Thanks once again, Raj. So I will introduce Raj to my audience. Raj Tulshan is founder of Loan Mantra, a financial services company that provides expert client experience and best-in-class fintech to help small businesses who need access to this funding. As he says, his company helps small businesses who are struggling after more than a year of unprecedented disruption due to COVID-19 pandemic. And as these businesses work tirelessly to recover, they help them secure the funding they need to get back on track. So Raj, my first question would be, please introduce yourself and tell something more about yourself, your journey into this company, before founding this company to our audience.
Well, so thank you first for the kind words again. And so I started Hudson Capital just about 7 years back. My portal is called Blue. My team that develops the portal is actually in India. They are also in Gurgaon, Jaipur, and Rajasthan area. I personally sit in Charleston, South Carolina, and a part of my team is in New York. Um, Before I started this company, I actually used to work with Merrill Lynch. We used to do structured products. So I always say debt was kind of built into me. I used to do what I do now is a couple of less zeros in the back end. Back in the days, I used to do it for larger corporations. Now I do it for much smaller corporations. But you know what? The struggles are the same. People's requirements for debt and everything's over. When I joined, the fintech was essentially just a buzzword back then. Now fintech, what's happening during COVID, etc. Fintech's become a humongous, changing, innovating a way of basically life. So essentially, this is a great time to be here. And look, we created Loan Mantra with one single purpose in mind. Create a process so that we can empower the small business owner so they can essentially grow their business. I'm a small business owner, right? Everybody I work with today, America's greatest force is its small business owners. Small business owners are extremely passionate about what they do. They're extremely good at what they do. Where they lack and where they need help, and that's where we step in, is Loan Mantra. We essentially help them with their financials. We help them with essentially get loans with financial institutions. We basically have blurred the geographic boundaries and help these companies grow.
So if I talk about numbers, what do you mean by small business?
So in US, there's an interesting way of looking at businesses. Any individual who, based on revenue and is looking for debt. Personally, if you look at it, I look at it as anybody who has borrowing up to $15 million falls in small business. Here's another way of looking at it. The US lending industry is primarily split into two major sections, right? And this is in traditional lending. And I can get into traditional versus alternative lending. But in traditional lending, you have conventional lending and you have SBA lending. SBA stands for Small Business Administration. Now, the Small Business Administration has multiple programs. One of the programs is businesses can borrow up to $5 million. And traditionally, they fall into the small business realm. The SBA currently has various programs going on, and it has capped the loan amounts that they can give to businesses. So that is how we define. We define based on revenues, the other parameters and number of employees. During the COVID, when there were financial grants given out, the SBA pretty much limited certain programs to 50 or less employees. There were other programs, which I think, if I could be wrong, if it was 200 or 300 employees, that was the max on it. So that's how you define small businesses.
And when you say Loan Mantra helps them to get this kind of funding, there must be documentation required. So what are the services that you all take care of?
Well, that's the best part, right? Look, and that's where I'm going to take a step back. When I started this business, I realized one thing is small businesses first go to the traditional lender. You and me, when I was in New York, there was a bank branch literally under every building. If I could stand under my building, there were 5 or 6 branches. But guess what? None of them were really explaining the process of getting anything done for the business owner. And as a business owner, I'm like, oh, I have a relationship with X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, and Z bank is going to give me my money. Never happens. We have gone. So that's where Loan Mantra comes in. Everybody asks, hey, so where do I start? If you please go to loanmantra.com. LOANMANTRA.com. And literally on the top right-hand side, it says start here. It's in big green. It says start here. What that does is you click on it, and minute you click on it, your journey begins there. What I mean by that is we'll ask you simple, basic questions. And as you go in and fill that information on the back end, the system generates documents. Somebody's very smart once told me what we do is not rocket science. So it literally is taking a process and simplifying it for use of me and you, all of us who are non-bankers. And that's what Loan Mantra has done. So the service we provide is we've taken the myth and the craziness behind the uncertainty behind small business lending or business lending in general, and essentially have made it smooth and transparent. Moreover, we made the process easy and convenient. So I know myself as a small business owner. I have a family, I have my business, and I have my personal life also. We got to juggle all of it. And this is every single one of us. And guess what? All 3 are equally important. So how do I prioritize? Well, the best way to prioritize is do it on your time and whatever's convenient for you. Loan Mantra helps you do that. In Loan Mantra, you can start the process today. You can take the process, do it later on when your kids are in bed or you've got a little bit of time. You can do it at your convenience. And that's what makes it different. Loan Mantra it's for the user, basically. And look, we are the end user. We are the consumers of our product. So it makes the process that much easier. And the best part of it, it's all in one ecosystem. What I mean by that is today, oh, great, I have to fill this form, then I have to print this form, then I have to scan this form. None of that is required. In Loan Mantra, as you go ahead, finish the questions, it automatically goes and creates documents for it. You can e-sign those documents within our platform and essentially from there, share it with your own lender. You don't even have to go to one of our lending partners. We have 84 lending partners. You can decide, hey, you know what? Forget about it. I still want to go to my local bank and work with them. You can send it to them. Or if none of those local banks are helpful to you, you can essentially come back to us and be like, hey, you know what? I'm in New Jersey. Can you get me my loan? And more likely, you will probably get matched to a lender in Kansas or another city because you know what? Those lenders are hungry for these loans. They want geographic diversification.
So my next query that is coming to mind is, and it's up to you whether it is a business secret, whether you can divulge it or not. How much is the difference between the interest rates, what the bank offer or your lender offers?
Actually, there isn't. And there is no business secret. Look, that's the beauty of Loan Mantra, right? We are transparent. We are small business owners, so we know exactly what's required. We work with, when we say we are partners with lenders, we literally work with lenders who are willing to provide the best rate. Again, a little bit about lending here. What I see the lending environment is anywhere from 3.25%, which is where we see the conventional, going into 6% in the SBA space, slightly higher in the alternative space, and then going up to almost 18, 19% in the alternative space. Loan Mantra is pretty much working with all these lenders to get our borrowers the best rate. Look, my goal, what I learned in my business, and I'm very fortunate when I say this, is 100% of my client base is either referral or repeat customers. We grow organically. That for me is a huge badge of honor. The reason it's a badge of honor is because my clients know what I'm doing for them is 100% correct. Every member in my team can independently speak to a client base and be like, hey, you know what? I can get you this, and I will work with the best lender in getting you that. Loan Mantra's goal is to make the small business owners successful and empowered. So tomorrow when they grow, we grow with them.
And what are the risks factors both for lenders in case the borrower defaults, and for the borrower in case he has mortgaged or put some of his assets on mortgage?
There is always risk, right? Any kind of buying lend business, that no business comes without risk. If a business is without risk, then everybody would just sit there and do that. Eventually the risk factor will come in, the arbitrage will be gone. So having said that, from a lender, so you asked a 2-point question. Hey, what is the lender's risk and what is the borrower's risk? The lender's risk is essentially what we come in Loan Mantra do. Again, please go on Loan Mantra. You will see everything is laid out. We are pretty much doing a cash flow analysis out there. We are doing, we're pulling credit scores, credit reports, tax transcripts. All of this can be done on Loan Mantra. So as far as Loan Mantra is concerned, we are getting all of the information out to our lending partners. We are being very transparent. However, there is always the economic aspects at the macro level, economic aspect. At the micro level, yes, there's the industry level or the borrower level. What I mean by that is, look, macro level, last year when on March 16, when everything starts shutting down, nobody can factor that in. I mean, going back to my past life, we used to do millions of dollars of structured loans. And guess what happened? Whoever survived 2008, 2009 will tell you, no matter how much analysis you do, macro impacts are always there, right? So that's something the lender, but however, there's always the concept of prudent lending. Have you done your analysis? We at Loan Mantra, pretty much from start to finish, give you enough information out there. So you can take all of the information from Loan Mantra and essentially create a credit memo that helps you decide, hey, we have done enough analysis of the borrower, of the industry, of the region, and are comfortable that there is a loan to be had there. Now, there's always be like, hey, something may always happen and things will go bad. But till the time you do prudent lending, you are most likely that you will have the risk of liability, the risk of loss is significantly low. Now, as far as the borrower is concerned, look, you have to have skin in the game. Every borrower today, the same way when there's a benefit, when there's a profit, you are benefiting from that. So if you want that profit, you have to spend something, and that something is the skin in the game. Is if you're pledging an asset, I'm assuming that's what you are referring to, right? That, hey, what is the borrower's? Yes, there is a risk involved in it. But what I have learned in my years of working in this industry is essentially business owners are very good at what they do. I know my best story and example is I met an individual, actually a Punjabi individual. He came here, he started working at Shell. There's a photograph he sent me one day of him having socks wrapped around his hand, and he was pumping gas. Today, he owns 4 gas stations, and he has done extremely well for himself. There was a passion there. He was willing to take the risk. And in every step of the way, there is always somebody such as Loan Mantra available to help them out throughout the process.
So yeah, that's a great mantra in itself, that when you do a business, do with dedication, with the passion, and go with knowledge tools and market research, analytics. Definitely, you will be successful soon. But that passion should be there. It should be very superficial kind of thing that I start this doing this, or I start doing that without proper intention or dedication. One needs to put in blood and sweat into developing a business.
100%. And look, every business has an up and a down, right? I mean, if I look at where I started to where we are, I have looked at now the dot-com crisis, the credit crisis, the financial crisis, again, during which there was a lack of liquidity, and now the big one, COVID. And here we are, all of us come through. US right now is essentially going through a renaissance in the small business space. There's so much money provided by the US government. They are essentially, in mind, they're essentially making up for the credit crisis. During the credit crisis, I believe there was a credit market froze up. Here, during the last year and a half, I'm seeing the exact opposite. The government has come up with so many programs, the PPP, the EIDL, the SVOG, the RRF, the various CDFI grants and programs, the state level. There are so many programs. I think this is a great environment for small businesses to start and to grow. I am positive when I say that is that the outcome of whatever may be as far as COVID is concerned, how long it lingers around. But in the small business space, there is going to be tremendous amount of growth. We're going to see a lot of innovation coming in the small business space.
True. So Raj, on last note, would you like to share something more with the audience about your company, about your offers? And you have given your website. I think they can get in touch with you through that website. There must be some contact form on that.
Absolutely. So please visit loanmantra.com. It is extremely user-friendly. The way my team explains it to me is like, if you can read English, you can work on Loan Mantra. And 100% of our population has essentially successfully completed an application. If you can't do it, we can help. Today on Loan Mantra, you can come in and borrow anywhere from $100,000 up to $15 million. We'll match you directly with one of our lending partners. The process is extremely seamless. And even if you decide, hey, you know what, I don't want a loan right now, Loan Mantra has essentially a built-in document system, so you can save all your documents. Yeah, for example, we work with our business owners on the PPP, the EIDL, the SVOG, and the RRF, some of the government programs. Today, all of that information sits within Loan Mantra. So you can work with your service providers, your accountant, your real estate agent, or anybody who you work with on a regular basis. Hey, I want to buy a property. Guess what? All the documents are sitting in Loan Mantra. From there, you can share with somebody. So it's loanmantra.com is literally built for keeping the small business owner in mind, any business owner in mind. We all are trying to be innovative. We are all trying to be efficient. And essentially, loanmantra.com is the way to be efficient.
And Raj, one last question. Geographically, which are the places you give your services? Is United States, I understood. Canada is also there, or some other country?
So right now, we are strictly in continental United States. One day, when we'll take your word and we'll go to Canada, and I'm hoping one day we'll partner with an Indian partner and also be in India, because I truly believe I have a lot to learn here, and India is going to teach me a lot on that one. So yes, absolutely. But for now, we're just strictly in 48 states in the United States, and then eventually we are looking to expand. But and the other thing I said earlier is you could be in anywhere. So you being a small business owner shouldn't think that, oh my God, I'm near New Jersey, where can I get a loan? Loan Mantra blurs the geographic boundaries. As I said, most of my clients are essentially in a different location when then the loan gets done. Like, for example, we have a significant client base in Indiana. We have a significant client base in New Jersey. And guess what? A lot of our transactions get done. They get done in Utah. They get done in California. They get done in, actually New York. We have a significant banking base there. So our banking partners are everywhere, and banks are fine working with customers across boundaries.
Best wishes for the.
Thank you.
We also want to look at more and more of your centers across the globe. Thank you so much for talking with us. This was really a very good talk show.
Thank you for having me. I wish you all the best also. Thank you.
Thank you.